Names like Ryan Aït-Nouri, Tijani Reinders, Omar Marmoush, Ryan Cherki, Erling Haaland, and Rodri are now part of something bigger. Manchester City aren't just building a squad, they're forging a machine. A unit so refined, so perfectly engineered, it's as if Pep Guardiola analyzed every flaw from last year and vowed, that won't happen again. So how strong is this new version of City? Are they genuinely correcting the issues that derailed them? Let's break it down.
The previous campaign was unlike anything we'd come to expect under Guardiola's role. For the first time in years, City looked off. Their usual flow, interrupted. Their command, gone. Their fear factor, vanished. And this wasn't just an unlucky streak. The entire system faltered. From the first few matches, the warning signs were there.
Injuries hit early and hard. Rodri was sidelined with a muscular issue for weeks. De Bruyne couldn't find consistency in his fitness. John Stones and Ruben Diaz barely played together long enough to form a reliable core. The midfield had no continuity. The backline changed every week, and when you remove structure from a Guardiola setup, the whole thing unravels. But perhaps the most noticeable shift: opposing teams stopped playing scared. Lower-ranked sides began pressing City, attacking boldly, because that aura of invincibility was gone. And then came the pivotal Champions League clash. A spot in the knockouts was on the line. Their opponent? Real Madrid. In past seasons, you'd bet on City to handle it, but this time, one spectacular display from Kylian Mbappe ended their hopes.
Things continued to spiral. They dropped points in matches they usually controlled with ease. Meanwhile, Liverpool stayed consistent. Not perfect, but dependable. Enter Arne Slot, a fresh face in the league. In his debut season, he outmanaged Guardiola across the entire campaign. That wasn't just a loss, it was a statement. Guardiola wasn't outdone by a legend, he was outcoached by a newcomer. And that made the fall even harder to stomach.
City's low point? The FA Cup final loss to Palace. No stars, just grit. Exhausted, out of ideas, and exposed, City's season ended in silence. Pep knew it wasn't just form, it was structure. This summer he didn't chase stars, he rebuilt from the back. Because without a foundation, the whole system breaks. And Guardiola? He's never been one to watch things fall.
Start with Ederson. Despite the chaos, he was one of the few stable figures, still elite with his feet, still capable of slicing through pressure with a single pass. But here's what most missed. The guy had zero protection. Mistakes, sure, but the constant chopping and changing in front of him made his job impossible. With a settled backline, he won't need to play hero nearly as often. Fewer blunders, more shutouts.
Now to the center backs, where Guardiola made a clear statement. Depth is no longer optional. Last year, key defenders dropped. Stones and Diaz missed crucial stretches. AK was dependable but exhausted. Akanji was overused. So this year, City loaded up. 5 senior central defenders, all ready, all top quality. Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake, John Stones, Abdulkader Husanov, and Manuel Akanji. This isn't just padding the squad, it's strategic.
Diaz remains the anchor, confident, informed, and fearless. Ake gives balance on the left, reads the game well, and never panics. That duo could be Pep's go-to pairing, aggressive when needed, disciplined when not. Then there's Stones, more than just a center back. He drifts into midfield, helps circulate the ball, and changes how City build up. Fully fit, he alters the entire rhythm of their play. Akanji? He's the utility man. Plug him in anywhere. He delivers. Akanji brings versatility to City's defense, comfortable covering at center back or shifting wide when needed. Then there's the wild card, Kusanov. Young, full of energy, and still developing, but he's already giving glimpses of a player who fits into Guardiola's vision.
Now let's shift focus to the fullbacks. Rico Lewis brings control and composure, but Pep wants more threat out wide. Enter Tino Livramento. Fast, fearless, and direct. If signed, City get tactical variety at right back. Lewis for calm and balance, Livramento for pace and unpredictability.
On the left side, Joško Gvardiol continues to show his value. He offers control, power, and line-breaking passes, ideal when City want to dictate play. But Aït-Nouri changes everything. Dynamic, fearless, and creative, he plays like a winger disguised as a fullback. His ability to invert, overlap, or stay wide mid-match gives Pep a rare tactical weapon. Gvardiol brings security, Aït-Nouri brings chaos.
Together, they give Guardiola flexibility he lacked last season. Not just depth, but distinct roles for different challenges. Now City can build from the back with precision or overwhelm teams from the flanks. This isn't about plugging holes, it's about setting the tempo from every position on the pitch.
But the heart of City's dominance over the years, it's always been the midfield. For a Guardiola team, the middle of the park is where everything connects. Transitions, build-up, pressing, all of it runs through the midfield. But last season, that connection was broken. Not because of a lack of talent, but because the chemistry was off.
Rodri's injury exposed a huge truth. This team runs through him. He's more than a defensive shield. He's the conductor. He paces the game, snuffs out threats, links the backline to the front, all with calm and control. Without him, everything started falling apart. City looked stretched, panicked, and out of rhythm, a rare sight under Pep.
İlkay Gündoğan, once a central figure, began to show his age. His vision was still there, but the legs weren't. Kevin De Bruyne's brilliance never disappeared, but his body couldn't keep up. Injuries made his magic rare and inconsistent. Without those two at their peak, City weren't just lacking ideas, they lost their leadership and directness too.
Guardiola leaned on Kovacic and Bernardo, but they lacked Rodri's control and De Bruyne's edge. Nico Gonzalez arrived with promise, but struggled under pressure. A future asset, not a present fix. Rodri's return changed everything. His elite positioning and vision restored City's rhythm. For the number 8 role, Pep didn't look for stars, he redefined the job.
Enter Reinders. Energetic, tactically sharp, and tireless. He's not flashy, but he's exactly what City needed. A smart, modern midfielder who balances the team at both ends. With Rodri anchoring and Reinders pushing forward, City's midfield has identity and structure again.
Reinders is relentless. A true box-to-box force with the stamina to last 90 minutes at full intensity. He's constantly finding lanes others miss, drifting into the half spaces, arriving late into the box, and making those intelligent third-man runs. But what really makes him stand out, he delivers. Last season alone, 15 goals, 5 assists. From midfield, that's rare. But when it came to replacing that De Bruyne role, Pep took a different route. He chose chaos. Ryan Cherki brings flair, unpredictability, and magic in tight spaces. Raw but fearless, he's the spark. With Rodri's control, Reinders' drive, and Cherki's creativity, City's midfield engine is alive again. City's midfield is rebuilt with depth and clarity. Bernardo, Kovacic, and Nico offer unique support behind a core of Rodri, Reinders, and Cherki. No longer a patchwork, it's balanced and purposeful. But goals win games, and last season, City's front line lacked fear and cohesion. Now, with structure restored and attackers offering pace, variety, and threat from every angle, Guardiola's side looks sharp, dangerous, and mentally overwhelming once again.
Let's start with the obvious centerpiece, Erling Haaland. Even in a down year, Haaland netted 31 goals, ruthless with minimal touches. With Reinders and Cherki behind him, he could hit new heights. On the right, Doku brings chaos, stretching defenses, dribbling past markers, and forcing errors. With better support, he'll be even more dangerous this season.
On the opposite side, the new addition, Savio. Savio brings speed, intelligence, and end product, a winger who offers width without sacrificing control. Foden, despite an uneven season, remains vital with his ability to find space and link midfield to attack. But the real surprise? Omar Marmoush. Since arriving mid-season, he's racked up 13 goals and 7 assists for City, part of a 28-goal, 17-assist campaign overall. He's sharp, mobile, and finishes with purpose. When Haaland needs rest or City need a different threat, Marmoush steps in seamlessly, a blend of hunger and composure that gives Pep real flexibility up front. Guardiola now has a front line built on power, pace, depth, and tactical variety. Marmoush isn't just depth, he's pushing starters and even opening the door for a two-striker setup with Haaland. City's attack, with Doku, Savio, Foden, and more, is no longer one-dimensional. They can play fast, wide, fluid, or direct. Every role has depth, every tactic has flexibility. Last season's struggles were reset, not a decline. Now with the healthy Rodri, rebuilt midfield, and dynamic fullbacks, City are fully reimagined. This isn't just about defending titles, it's about dominating again, on all fronts. So, what do you think? Is this the year City reclaims Europe? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.